Hope you're all doing good. So in this video lecture, we'll be learning about two types of photodiodes, that is pin photodiode and avalanche photodiodes. So pin photodiode. So pin photodiode is a type of photodiode. The difference between a normal photodiode and a pin photodiode is that in a pin photodiode we have an extra layer that is coming in between the p-type semiconductor and the n-type semiconductor, that is the intrinsic layer, and this intrinsic layer is sandwiched between the two highly doped p-type semiconductor and n-type semiconductor layer. So why this intrinsic layer? This intrinsic layer is to improve the performance of the photodiode. Okay, how this improve the performance of the photodiode, that we'll see in the next slides. Okay, this intrinsic layer is denoted by the letter I. So a pin photodiode has the layers P, I and N, and the P layer and the N layer are highly doped and it has less resistivity, whereas the intrinsic layer is lightly doped and hence it has high resistivity. And the pin photodiode has a larger depletion layer because of this intrinsic layer that is coming in between the p-type and the n-type semiconductor material. So you can see from the figure the structure of a pin photodiode. We have intrinsic layer I sandwiched between the p-type and the n-type semiconductor material. So the pin photodiode is always operating in the reverse bias condition. The figure B shows the indium gallium arsenide pin photodiode. So how the current is generated in a pin photodiode, the basic working principle is same as that of a normal photodiode. So as the light is incident on the intrinsic layer, we have free electrons and holes that are being generated. How these free electrons and holes get generated is whenever the intensity of the light or the photon is greater than the band gap, then the electrons can move from the valence band to the conduction band. As a result, free electrons and holes are generated, and these free generated electrons and holes create a potential across the depletion region, which results in the flow of current. So by using intrinsic layer, the depletion width is improved, and more and more light can be concentrated on the intrinsic region. That means higher current flows through the photodiode. So since the electric field is high across the intrinsic region, you can see from the graph, the electric field versus distance graph, the electric field is maximum at the intrinsic layer. So that is all about pin photodiode. So here you can see the band diagram for a pin photodiode. So whenever the photon of energy greater than the band gap is incident on the intrinsic layer, the electrons and holes are generated, that gains the energy to jump from the valence band to conduction band. An electron can jump from the valence band to a conduction band. As a result, when an electron is moving from a valence band to conduction band, a hole is generated in the valence band and the electron moves to the conduction band. As a result, electrons and holes are generated. Okay, so on an average, the carriers may travel a distance of Ln and Lp for electrons and holes respectively, and the diffusion length. Ln and Lp are the diffusion length for the electrons and holes and are given by Ln and Lp, that is equal to dn tau n the whole raised to 1 by 2, and Lp is equal to dp tau p the whole raised to 1 by 2. dn and dp are the diffusion coefficients of electrons and holes, whereas tau n and tau p are the carrier lifetime of electrons and holes respectively. So in this pin photodiode, whenever the light is incident on a semiconductor material, that optical radiation is absorbed, and correspondingly electrons and holes are generated, and that power absorbed is given by the expression P of x is equal to P naught 1 minus e raised to minus alpha s of lambda into x, whereas alpha s of lambda is the absorption coefficient at the wavelength lambda, and P naught is the incident optical power level, and P of x is optical power absorbed in a distance. So the advantages of pin photodiode is that it requires a very low reverse bias. It has high quantum efficiency. large bandwidth can be obtained, and low noise performance. And disadvantages is that this pin photodiode cannot amplify signals. So the next type of photodiode that we are going to discuss is avalanche photodiode. Why we go for the avalanche photodiode is that the output current in the normal PIN photodiode and the conventional photodiode is very less in the range of microamperes. So as to improve this current rating, we go for avalanche photodiode, and then photodiode has a less gain of less than 1. So in order to obtain high gain and high current, avalanche photodiodes is used. And also avalanche photodiodes has a better responsivity than the normal and pin photodiode. So in the working of avalanche photodiode, the structure is kind of similar to that of a pin photodiode, but the only difference is that in avalanche photodiode we have an additional P layer that is coming in between the intrinsic layer and the n-type semiconductor layer. Okay, so we have just consider we have a pin photodiode PIN. So in avalanche photodiode, in between the I layer and the N layer, we are bringing a new layer called P layer. Okay, so why we bring this P layer, that I'll explain. So that is the structure of avalanche photodiode. We have a p-type semiconductor, we have an intrinsic layer, we have another p-type layer, and then an n-type semiconductor material. Okay, so in avalanche photodiode, the reverse bias is always applied near to the breakdown voltage. Okay, so we are applying a reverse bias near to the breakdown voltage. So when the incident light is touching the intrinsic layer, so the breakdown voltage, we are applying the reverse bias near the breakdown voltage. So when the light is incident on the intrinsic layer, charge carriers will be generated. Okay, charge carriers will be generated, and this charge carriers will travel with the saturation velocity. Why they travel with the saturation velocity is because we are applying the reverse bias near to the breakdown voltage. So whenever we are applying the reverse bias near the breakdown voltage, the charge carriers that is generated due to the incidence of light will be traveling with their saturation velocity. Saturation velocity means they are having a maximum high velocity. So the charge carriers are moving with a high velocity. So these charge carriers will be colliding with other atoms. When they are colliding with other atoms, new electron holes are generated. New electron hole generation means a higher current is generated. So the total current is being increased. We have a set of charge carriers that are generated because of the incidence of light. Because of this incident light, there is a charge carriers that are being generated. Since we are applying the reverse bias voltage near to the saturation voltage, the charge carriers are traveling with a saturation velocity which is a higher velocity. Because of this higher velocity, these charge carriers will collide with other atoms and creating new electron hole pair. So a net electron hole pairs generated is on a higher side. Since there is a higher amount of electrons holes generated, a higher current is being produced. Okay, so in avalanche photodiode we have a higher current that is being generated, and this process of generating more number of carriers with the collision process, and by making the carriers travel in a saturation velocity, that process is known as impact ionization. So in avalanche photodiode, a higher current is generated by the process of impact ionization. So as you can see from the figure, the structure of a APN photodiode, there is a P layer, there is a N layer, P plus and N plus layer, and an intrinsic layer. So these layers are similar to that of the pin photodiode. The only additional layer that is coming as a P layer. Okay, so here the light is incident on the intrinsic layer, just the same as in the photodiode. So in the intrinsic layer is the initial photons, initial charge carriers that are being generated here. So the initial charge carriers are generated in the intrinsic layer because of the incident photons, and we are applying a reverse bias voltage across this avalanche photodiode. Okay, because of this reverse bias voltage, the charge carriers that are generated on the intrinsic layer will be traveling with the saturation velocity. Because of this saturation velocity, this carriers will be colliding with the atoms in the new p layer. Okay, so in the p layer, new electrons and holes will be generated. So that is the secondary carriers that are being generated. The initial carriers are generated in the intrinsic layer, and the secondary charge carriers, because of the collision, is being generated in the p layer. Okay, so this is because that is why we are bringing in a p layer. Okay, because of this p layer, there is a multiplication of carriers that are happening. Impact ionization takes place in the p layer. Okay, so that is the reason why we bring a p layer in the avalanche photodiode, so as the number of carriers can be increased, hence the current can be increased, and the potential will be higher on the p side. So as you can see from the electric field distance diagram, the higher potential is there in the newly formed p layer because more carriers are there in the p layer. The intrinsic layer will also have a electric field, but it will be lesser than that of the p layer. Okay, so this is how the basic working of an avalanche photodiode is. Okay. So advantages of avalanche photodiode: since we are obtaining a higher photocurrent, that means the gain is high. The disadvantages is that high operating voltage is required because breakdown voltage is a higher voltage. That means higher operating voltage is required. We are applying the reverse bias near to the breakdown voltage, so high operating voltage is required. High voltage noise. An avalanche means the output is not linear. Okay, so for this avalanche photodiode, the output is not linear, it is a non-linear output. And because of this current gain, the responsivity of avalanche photodiode is enhanced by a multiplication factor m. Okay, so in the p layer, I've already told you the new layer p is where the multiplication of the carriers take place, and that p layer has an associated multiplication factor denoted by the letter m, and RAPD is the responsivity of avalanche photodiode, that is given by M into R. R is the responsivity of a normal photodiode, which has a formula eta Q by HV, where eta is the quantum efficiency, Q is the charge of the electron, H is a Planck's constant, and V is the velocity of light in free space. And IP is the photo current. IP is given by multiplication factor M into responsivity of photodiode into incident power, and that can also be written as RAPD, that is responsivity of photodiode into incident power.